Good afternoon, Year 5s. Today I'm going to be working with you, and we are going to start a new unit of work. I know we haven't finished our sea sculpture project, but hopefully we'll be able to photograph and evaluate those when we are back in school. This is a very exciting unit of work, and I do hope that you are going to enjoy it, experiment and set yourself some challenges. So what you need today is just a pencil and paper to make some notes. I want you to remember that you are able to pause this video at any time if you're a bit stuck, or if you didn't hear me, or if you want to go back and try something again. Let's see if we can turn the page. It's always a good start. There we go. So we're going to be creating a mind map today, and our new topic is all about architecture. I'll give you a chance just to read through the success criteria and set yourself a challenge for today's lesson. I'll help you read it as well. So we're going to be researching the topic architecture, and most of you are going to be able to do that by adding images. Some of you, I'd like to see some of you researching that topic and adding a range of images, as well as including the title architecture spelt correctly. You don't want me to fall on the floor and have a heart attack. And then a few of you, those that are able to, you're going to use images to research the topic of architecture, and I'd like you to make your mind maps quite detailed and think about your presentation as well. But I'll give you an example as we're going on. And then the star challenge for all of you is that, can you include images of buildings on your mind map by both Gaudi and Hundertwasser? Now, just let's warm up our brains. We've had a little bit of a break and slowed down over Christmas. All I want you to do on a scrap piece of paper, it can be a scrap piece of paper or a notebook, anything that you have in front of you, is write down as many different buildings as possible, as you can think of. For example, bungalow, semi-detached. Many different buildings that you can think of. Hospital. And then for some of you, I want you to choose 3 of those and say how they are used. Where would you see them? And do they have a function or a purpose? Now that is your star challenge, but I think most of you will be able to meet that star challenge today. Oopsie dear. Back all forward. There we go. So, I'm going to write down as many different buildings as possible. And then, those that can, you're going to choose 3 and say how they're used. Where would you see them? Do they have a function or purpose? At this point, you can pause the video if you like, so that you can give that a go. You're doing really well. Brilliant. Okay. I'm going to go on, but if you still want to continue adding your ideas, then pause now and you can add some more. Now, I've put some of my ideas on the page. Do any of your ideas match mine? If your ideas do not match my ideas, there's nothing wrong with that. You guys all have brilliant ideas, and actually, you guys normally, I wish you were here so that you could have shared and given some of your ideas to me. So I thought of commercial buildings such as shops, Tesco's. There's a little image of a commercial building. Bungalows. So those are single-story houses where the bedrooms and lounge, etc., are all on one floor, all on the ground floor. There may be some historical buildings that are fascinating, like such as castles, skyscrapers, really tall buildings where you can fit a lot of people. Here we go. Into the building, but they're only built on a small area of land. Perhaps a barn, used for storage or provide shelter for animals. And behind my head, if I can move myself, you can see a church. So those might be used for, oh yeah, more big, for religious worship. Okay, what is architecture? I've used the word quite a bit throughout the lesson now. Most of you will probably be able to guess what it is. And it is, you tell me first of all what you think it is. I'll give you a second to have a think. What is architecture? Try not to read what I wrote down. Put it in your own words. Yep, that sounds good. So it's the art or practice of designing and constructing buildings. And this term, we are all going to get the opportunity to be architects and design our own buildings. And I can't wait to see your finished designs. And there's some examples, as you can see at the bottom of that slide, of some buildings that were designed by previous students. And they also started the process in the exact same way you're starting that process today, by doing a mind map and getting inspiration, gathering ideas for their final design. So at the end of the project, we're going to produce our own buildings. Now, before we start thinking about designing, just like I said, we need to start gathering our ideas, and we get inspiration from other artists and architects, and we borrow those ideas from people that have already designed buildings, people that have been successful at it. But today I really want us to focus on creating a mind map, looking for interesting, unusual and absolutely fabulous buildings. We're only going to be using one page, so I want to try to get you to put all these buildings on one PowerPoint page. It needs to be a collage, which means that the buildings can overlap. There needs to be unusual and interesting buildings. There needs to be a range of buildings. If you can, I'd like you to include the title architecture on your slide, spelt correctly. Then a little bit of a star challenge for you is, can you include at least one image of a building by Gaudi and one by Hundertwasser? And I've also put a bit of extension work, because I know there are some of you that really like to push yourselves that little bit further. Could you put some notes in text boxes which express your ideas and your opinions? And here's a little example of a mind map which I did earlier. Now, take note, I have also done the extension work on mine, so that is not expected from you. So I have collaged a variety of buildings. I've included the title, architecture, and then I've also given added a picture. I've done the star challenge from Gaudi and a picture from Hundertwasser, and then I've put some of my own ideas in text boxes. So things that I perhaps thought when I looked at the buildings. For example, this is my favourite building because it is shaped like a dog. When I looked at this building, I like the repetitive shapes and patterns. So this is the end product that I would like to see from some of you. And you can upload that to Google Classroom. So just as a quick plenary, before I just recap how you're going to go about setting up your mind map, you must remember to save and upload your mind map when you're finished. I actually suggest that you give making your mind map a go, and then you come back to my plenary page and you ask yourself some of these questions. I'm going to pause the video at this point, and I want you to go and give the mind map a go, try that out, and then come back, and I want you to ask yourself these questions. So some of the questions you're going to ask yourself are: were you able to Google images of unusual buildings? Did you copy, cut and paste the images? Have you included a variety of images linked to the theme? Did you set and challenge yourself? Include a title. Give me a thumbs up if you included a title. Did you spell it correctly? Have you filled your page with images of buildings, or have you just got one or two images? Come and fill that page, lots of exciting and different buildings. And did you extend yourself? I'll be so proud of all the people that really extended themselves and added their own thoughts and ideas. Now, next week, just to let you know what you'll need when I see you next week, we are going to be drawing, which is very exciting, and you will be needing, we'll be carrying out a study of a building, so we'll be looking at an image of a drawing, of a building, and we will be drawing it, and I'll be teaching you how to do that. So you will need a blank piece of paper, a pencil and a ruler. If you don't have a blank piece of paper, not the end of the world, we'll deal with it, it's fine, it doesn't really matter. but it would be good for you to have a blank piece of paper. Now, the next bit of the video you can watch or you can choose not to watch. I just wanted to show you, jumping between screens, how to use PowerPoint for some of you that haven't used PowerPoint before. So I'm just going to go off my presentation. So first thing you need to do is look for PowerPoint, and you're going to open it. Click on blank presentation. Then I tend to click, when I click on layout, I just click blank. So now I've got a blank layout. Then I'm going to open Internet Explorer. And as I said to you, we are looking for unusual buildings. I'm going to put that in. That's one of the key phrases that I used, unusual buildings. When I click on unusual buildings and I go to images, you can see a whole lot of range of fabulous unusual buildings appears. So let's go for the basket building. So I copy the picture, I then go back to my blank PowerPoint presentation and I paste. Once I've pasted that picture, I can move it around and I can change the size. Okay, move it around, change the size. There's something else I can do, which I'm going to show you. This is something you probably only learn in year 6, but I'm just going to give you a little sneak preview while I'm online. If you highlight the image, and you can see it's highlighted because it becomes in this box with the dots, you can then go to remove backgrounds, and everything in the purple area will be removed. Anything that you don't want or you want to remove, so I'm just going to click on the outside of the box and you'll see what goes. So that's been removed. Say for example I still want this area to remove. I highlight it again, I go to my remove background tool, and I can then mark areas that I would like, further areas that I would like to be removed, and when they turn purple they're going to be removed. And I'm left with the building without the background. So some of you may want to give that a try. If you want to add a text box, go to this icon at the top and you just click text box, and then you're able to type into that text box. I'm just going to write basket building. You're able to type into that text box and move your text boxes around so that you can add information to your mind map. That's also the way in which you can add the title to your mind map, architecture. When I add a title, I like to make it bigger than the rest of my work so that it stands out. I'm a big fan of Comic Sans, but you can use whatever font you fancy. And let's stretch that text box out so the entire word fits. You can then change the colour and add a border if you like. So give it a go. I can't wait to see your mind maps. I'll be looking forward to them being uploaded onto Google Classroom, and I look forward to seeing you next week. So, all from me for today, and I will see you next week with a pen, pencil, and a blank piece of paper as well as a ruler. Look after yourselves. Bye.